bloop, bloop.
What?
Said I heard a bloop, bloop, bloop. Somebody joining.
That's me. Oh. There's William.
Hey, man.
And his killer fast iPad 3.
Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. That's a mistake we had, that the pre-show conversation was better than parts of the show. So
I had a different topic in mind. Hang on, let me turn some lights on in here.
well, we're still gonna talk about that. So
Hello there, guys.
hello.
Hi, Dave.
I don't know if this is gonna work, but
I'm getting booted out already.
Yeah, Monday on our Variety Hour.
Oh, there goes Dave.
I see myself live and I see my photograph.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
Can you kill the spare meat? Oh.
it should die on its own.
What was up with that? MUC error I got.
You act like it's my fault.
I know. I wonder if you should start a new Hangout or something. Maybe we're on a bad server.
I saw your rant against Hangouts too. That was pretty good, Keith.
Yeah, Hangouts are just not just Hangouts. The Google scripts. Google's making the web pages more and more intelligent, putting more, I don't know, jQuery or something into the thing, just so we can have live counters that kick off, and it's just making everything so sluggish. And I used to park myself on the Google search engine page, so I had a static page that I knew wasn't consuming any CPU time, and I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, I noticed my Google IG page has constantly got the little spinner going, meaning there's a script running in the background.
Killing all my extra Chrome windows.
If I try to kill pages and more start up. It's like being on a spam bot site.
I wonder if the I use the offline Gmail thing. I wonder how much that affects things.
There we go.
Oh, double Keith.
Yeah, 2 beats.
Keith is so good he has to have 2.
I don't know if the internet is ready for 2 Keiths.
I'm not even ready for 2 Keiths.
You have a different white balance in each one.
Well, they're 2 different computers.
You're warmer in this one.
Thank you. All right. Let's see how long this lasts.
Yeah.
This is an attempt to reserve a slot. Plus, I want to share my desktop, so I can't do that during a broadcast unless I'm in there twice. And Ricky, if you could pan your camera down a little bit, we'd get more of you.
You really want more of me? Seriously?
Hey, at least you're wearing a T-shirt. I was worried that I might be showing too much cleavage. I dressed for the occasion.
So my prepared story is about Zynga getting OMG pop.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's Chris Porter wants to talk about that too.
Ah.
Cool.
I have 2 ideas. I'll let you choose and see which one you like.
No, you can propose it in the show and let the cast choose.
Okay.
Oh, I got to get on the chat room.
Oh, yeah.
We're muted right now. They can't hear us. So we're waiting for Chris, Juana. Juana didn't commit, though. He just said he would try. He would only come in for a minute or 2. Talk about
Where's
it.
the link for the chat room? I didn't save it. Dang it.
Just up above, there's a button that says chat.
There's a pop-out chat underneath the calendar.
Oh yeah, I gotta get on. KVIRC. I need a company to make like a really, really awesome IRC client.
I know. The problem is nobody cares about IRC anymore.
Yeah. I care.
There is a rumor going around
Yes.
Google's going to make the chat room IRC accessible. And
Yes. That'd be nice.
there's one more reason why nobody needs me.
Oh, we need you.
It's all
Where
right.
do you find these rumors?
Interwebs.
Never heard of it.
So what's this show called? Tech Plus or something? Or?
Yeah, Tech Plus.
How come we didn't go with like a cool grok name or whatever we were floating about?
Because nobody could agree. Oh, did I dropped out of the Hangout. See, this is not going to work.
What happened?
I need the computer I'm using is not powerful enough to do everything I want at once.
Were we going to Skype somebody in?
No, I could probably do that. I was reserving the slot. Plus, I was going to share my desktop. Sharing my desktop's not critical, but it is a function I want to do in general. I'm trying to solve the problem of running a broadcast and participating simultaneously. You know, with the studio.
I can see that would be a challenge.
Yeah, I don't have enough hands.
I told you, you need an intern.
I do. It's the only one. That's the only labor I can afford. So let me. I'm going to take us off mute so people can hear us. Hello,
You
people.
were trying to join the Hangout from another machine, or?
Yeah, from my laptop. But my laptop's really busy doing tons of other stuff.
I cannot find the stinking IRC chat link.
Go to Vidcast Network.
On Google Plus, that's where I'm at. Where's it at?
No, vidcastnetwork.com.
.com.
Oh, okay.
And then
Hold
How
on.
about
move
chat?
fast when it plays the video and we hear it echo like crazy.
He's got headphones.
Somebody, did I drop?
No, it's Chris joining.
Chris joining.
Hey guys.
Oh, I joined the Twitch chat room. Oops. Wrong chat.
Oh, shut up. Stop posting.
What?
Stop showing off.
What?
Stop showing off.
Okay, so now I hear you twice.
Somebody's going to hit pause on their their Vidcast Network thing.
Hold on, I'm working on it.
Don't you have headphones? Why are you hearing it?
I don't know. It's weird. There, I got the chat up now. Okay, I'm good. Happiness.
Hey, Chris.
It's like an old Star Trek episode.
I am the only one in the chat. Oh, no, I'm not.
You
Okay.
still got a stream.
Hang out.
All right.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, actually pretty loud.
Too loud?
Yeah, if you can do something about it.
They finally fixed the plugin, especially for Windows, so it doesn't lower my volume to 12 every time I join a Hangout automatically and then bring me up. Now it remembers where it ended last time. Because I used to join a Hangout and nobody could hear me for the first 20 seconds while it's ramping up the volume.
Yeah, of course we had the big echoing problem. And then I don't know if they've updated it twice or not, but I had a high-pitched whine in the first release of the plugin update.
Oh, I see Chris has got a beer or something over there. That's what I should go get. It's enough of this water.
I did decide to imbibe tonight.
He's celebrating the purchase of his new iPad.
There's barely any money left to buy a beer.
Support the habit.
Okay.
I do not like the Verge's tiled layout. It looks pretty, but it's hard to read.
Stop talking about it.
Why?
Because
It wasn't a topic.
less things in. Oh, I thought you were talking about.
I'm looking for topics on the site.
Oh, I thought you were talking about something on the iPad.
No, just the website, The Verge. It's got that tiled layout, which looks nice, but I just don't like it. See what the mobile view looks like.
We're just getting a lot of conversation lately. More and more people are using it.
Not me.
Well, all the Engadget people went there, basically. All the good people.
Those darned Engadget people.
The website Gadget's looking pretty cool lately.
Okay, so let's see. That shot. Noise. Okay. I'm going to try to reserve the slot and open it up to the Wave 2 people.
On Trey's show, we just gave up on the concept of inviting more people. Then we just like have a certain amount of people that said yes, and that's it. Like,
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that too. This is the last show because I wasn't sure. Now that we're into our third show, people have an idea about whether they don't want anything to do with it. Mildly interested, so.
Do you have any stats on how many people are watching it?
Not at the moment because I'm too busy.
Mm.
So we got to find out who this potential mystery guest is, or it's a mystery.
I don't know if he's gonna show, but yeah, no, he'll pop, if he pops in, you'll know. There's no way you won't know.
Is that what the slot is? Is that why you're reserving a slot?
Yeah, partially.
So he's gonna let you know beforehand.
No, I'm just gonna send him the invite. I warned him it was coming. We were talking.
No, but how can he get in if you're in his slot?
I'll leave.
But so he'll let you know, is what I'm saying.
No, I'll just leave anyway. So I'm not opening to the public. Only.
No, I mean like, oh, you're gonna empty the slot after the show starts. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Ah.
I have a feeling I won't have a choice. I have a feeling it's gonna just empty on its own.
Do you have? Can you join the Hangout from your phone? Oh no, it's on air.
I will come up with a better method. I've been doing a lot of work today. Okay, let me open this. Let me invite.
Where's the chat room for this, guys?
If you go to keithbarrett.com, or vidcastnetwork.com, and then pop out the chat from there. But once you pop out the chat, close the Vidcast Network so you don't have both playing.
Okay.
I look very dark. I need to get some more lights on me.
I'm inviting Wave 2.
Google Wave is sunsetting. I got like 4 emails about that.
Yeah.
That's one of our topics.
Kill it already. Kill it. It was never fun when it was there.
It was fun for a little
Stop
bit.
it! Don't talk about it. Stop it. Yeah, you guys.
Okay, everybody, silence. No
You guys,
talking.
you guys
No
can't-
talking.
You guys
Nobody
can handle a
showing
10-minute wait.
I'm going to try adding some light here.
It's so funny. I mean, I feel the same frustration. I'm the same
Well, we
way.
got to give a little bit to the pre-show people, you know.
Right now, all they can see is me because I don't want them to see me typing.
There, is that a little better? No, it's all from one side. Good Lord.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
See, we're gonna have to get you some continuous lighting from a large source.
Yes. The reflector or something.
Well, you know, I don't think I have to reserve the slot because. Oh, there's Danielle.
She's not moving.
He's not
She
moving.
seems to not moving at all.
That's her profile pic. She's still, the connection's
Just
still
give it a moment, it'll come up.
They can't hear you though.
Oh,
There she is.
Okay.
Finally, it's not a man cave anymore.
Dang.
All right, so Sabuana is not going to be here, obviously. So let me.
Hey, Danielle, can you say something again? I just want to make sure you're not on a delay.
Testing?
Yeah, you're about 3 seconds behind your video.
Ooh.
I don't think she. It's better than not having it.
Do you want me to log out and try logging back in?
You seem to be syncing up,
Okay.
right? It's getting better, guys, right?
Yeah, it's working here. Or you could just use gang signs.
All right.
Throw them up. Throw them up.
I am just about ready. Let me just get the names down in order. So I have that.
Oh, look at that double chin.
At least you have a chin.
No, shut up.
we're gonna be 5 minutes late. That's not too bad.
Chris might need to go get another beer here in a second, though. Keep holding off on it.
I might. Maybe I should go get one before we start.
Just have a little small fridge next to your desk and.
Hey, so Keith, you should make sure that you start the broadcast on G Plus
Oh, great. Danielle's calling.
a few minutes before the show, just so that people can kind of file in, and it's not like, hey, welcome to the show, and people miss all that part, you know.
Yeah, I know. I don't have my process down. You want me to? You were recommending starting the G Plus before what?
Before you actually start the show, just so that people can see the thing, click it, start the video.
Good.
Because otherwise, you click the button and then you go, hey, welcome to the show, but people aren't in yet.
Okay, that's okay. I can do that.
So we on our show we usually do like 5 minutes ahead. We just start it up and say, you know, show will be starting in a few minutes. Every once in a while, I say that.
I'm gonna. There's so many buttons here. I'm gonna reset the stream. Okay. That. Oops.
Oh, we have theme music now.
We had an echo going. I'm surprised the chat room didn't complain about that. I had an echo turned on. Yeah, that's okay. Now we'll start.
Is the chat room all just us?
Probably.
Probably.
No, there's 3 people in there.
Yeah, I see 5 total, so that's all 5 of us, I think. Maybe.
I don't see any of you guys.
Really?
I see
I
you.
see Keith Barrett, Dave Veffer, me, Beauty Bubble, Larry Anderson, and Tim OBY2K.
Oh, I see. All right. Let's get this going. I'm gonna hit the broadcast button.
I'm going to add Danielle to my circles. There we go.
Well, thank you. I'll add you too.
All right, so reshare.
Start the Ustream recording. You guys ready? Can I get this in gear here? Okay. I got a little intro piece to do here too.
Oh, fancy.
Cool.
This is Tech Plus, Episode 3, Wednesday, March 21st, 2012. Hi, this is Keith Barrett from vidcastnetwork.com, and welcome to the 3rd episode of Tech Plus Hangout. We have a great panel here tonight, and some various geek and tech news to talk about. Let's begin with introductions. The first one in the row is Chris Porter.
Hey, I'm Chris Porter in Columbia, South Carolina. I'm a home audio-video integrator, and you can find me here on Google Plus and at betterviewing.com.
And next up, we have Danielle Bowers.
I'm Danielle Bowers. I'm outside of Boston, Massachusetts, and I am a writer and amateur photographer. You can find me on Google+.
And then we have the infamous Dave Veffer.
Hey everybody, I'm Dave Veffer. I am the CTO and Photoshop guru at a commercial photography studio in New Jersey. You can find my Google Plus profile by going to plusdave.com.
And next we have Rick Betteridge.
Hey everybody, I'm Rick Betteridge. I'm a project manager at Disney. You can find me on Google Plus or that other social network.
There's another
zip
one.
it.
And then last but not least, we have William Beem.
Hey, everybody. I'm a photographer and author living in Central Florida. You can find me at williambeam.com or also on Google+.
So I suppose we should dive right into it. We have a couple people here who have brand new iPad 3s. Wealthier people than I.
The 3 is silent.
That's just the new iPad.
Yes, it is just actually. It's people have been calling it the iPad 2012. That's what I've heard the most. I've heard iPad HD a couple of times, but you're right. It's not the iPad 3 anymore.
I'll call it the iPad 2012 in 2013.
I thought they called it the iPad heater.
Why, does it get warm?
Oh yeah, that's right. I read that today. It gets really hot playing games.
So let's talk about.
Definitely can get warm.
We have two people in the room that have them, right? Chris and William have them.
It looks just like the old one.
Definitely.
I can take the same skin I had on the old one, put it on this one, and not have to buy anything new. So I'm happy with it. It's got a beautiful screen. The light speeds are fantastic if you're in the right spot. I was mentioning to a friend of mine that when I was in Maitland, Florida, I got 44.5 download speeds. At my house, it's probably running between 10, 15, maybe 17 megabits. So it's living up to the hype.
And Chris,
Yeah, and I didn't get the 4G version, and I'm starting to wonder if that might have been a mistake because of the great download speeds. You know, a lot of people are reporting that their download speeds are even faster than their home cable modems. So I'm a little jealous of that because I've got the Wi-Fi only version. But it is really gorgeous, although I'm not sure that I truly believe that the screen, the double resolution screen, is worth all the other sacrifices that we have to make to get that screen. In other words, how long could the battery last if this had the same screen that the iPad 2 that the iPad 2 had? It would last 2 days. It wouldn't get hot. It wouldn't get as warm. Don't get me wrong. I'm in love with the thing, and the screen is nice, but it's not twice as nice as the iPad 2 screen. It's only incrementally nicer.
what about the
You feel
camera?
that you should have waited for maybe the next release for the bigger screen, then give more battery life now, and then stick the Retina display in maybe next year? Or?
Yeah, in some ways, I think if they would have kept the same iPad 2 screen and given us the same battery that it had, and not had any of the heat issues that is required in powering this, incredibly high resolution screen, that in some ways it could have been an even better product. And I love the camera. The thing is great. I love it. I'm just wondering if the double resolution screen was really worth what it takes to power that screen.
Well, the battery, you're not finding the batteries lasting shorter, right?
I don't think that it's much shorter, but I did have to charge it before the Hangout tonight, and I don't normally have to charge it. Or my iPad, now I'm coming from an iPad 1 too. I'm not coming from an iPad 2, but my iPad 1, I usually had about 12% left at the end of the day. Now I did use this thing and watch video all day, but again, if the video that I'm downloading now because of this high resolution screen is a lot bigger, all of a sudden these bandwidth issues crop up that wouldn't have been an issue with a smaller resolution screen. So I just feel like the screen takes a lot of power. It definitely takes a lot of power, and I just wonder if it's worth all the extra juice that it requires.
Well, it might not be worth it, but but it's more snazzy for marketing terms to be able to talk about the screen and all that than it is to say, yeah, we got a bigger battery.
It is nice.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Text is gorgeous. It makes it more readable. It makes it feel more like a written page. It really does. I love the screen. I just wish that there weren't the issues that came along with the screen.
What about I'm sorry.
I was going to say, because you're the first iPad 1 owner that I know who jumped to the 3, or the third one. So I assume that you still consider that to be the right choice, that you wanted to move out of the 1.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. This compared to the iPad 1 is night and day. The speed is the thing that blew me away the most in terms of rendering web pages. When I first got the iPad 1, I expected it to render websites as quickly as my laptop did, and that didn't happen. It was this, you hit enter, and it was a 3, 4, 5 second, wait for that page to load. Now it's instant, and this really does feel to me more like a real computer than at least my iPad 1 did in a major way. I definitely think I made the right decision, but I don't think that if I had an iPad 2, unless I was a photographer or if I just really wanted that 4G speed and needed that because I traveled a lot, I don't think I would need to upgrade from an iPad 2.
So,
It's
but
kind of
William
like
is,
the iPad, the iPhone 4 to the iPhone 4S. It's a similar kind of jump, it seems to me.
and you mentioned a photographer. William is a photographer, and he's got one. So I mean,
It-
it's going to make a big difference for you.
I think so because I mean I went into it not really expecting that much from the Retina display, and I was very pleasantly surprised. So one of the first things I did was I loaded my old resolution photos on there, and of course they looked horrible. I mean they were at the most 1,200 pixels wide, and which was half of what I needed. I'm now loading full resolution photos on there, so if I want to zoom into something, it's still perfectly clear if I need to zoom in and show somebody something while I'm gone. The other aspect of it was watching video. I'm loading 1080p video on there just to see how it looked, and the clarity and detail is right there. I'm very, very pleasantly surprised that it's better than I expected it to be. And the other issue is if you think the screen is taking your battery life away, imagine how it would be if you were running light on it for your downloading, because that was quite a battery hog itself. I'm definitely seeing my battery meter drop down much faster on this one than it used to on my iPad 2 or the previous iPad 1.
So is anybody else going to get one?
Nope.
No. I bought myself an iPad too, so because of the price drop.
I have the iPad None.
Yeah, well, this is my first iPad. So
No iPads for me.
I picked it up for $300.
You're padless?
I'm padless. I am
Yeah, I was
tabletless.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. Actually, my wife's been using it most of the time right now because I'm trying to get her to be comfortable with it. So, okay, so the next, now that we got the Apple iPad fanboy stuff out of the way.
iPad, no, gone.
A couple of things were in the news this week. The first one we'll mention is I finally got a letter, and some people got more than one letter, that Google Wave is finally dying.
Yeah, it's sunsetting. It sounds so nice, doesn't it?
Sunsetting Google Wave.
That was an awesome piece of technology that actually had no application.
Are you guys going to
Does
the
anybody
Google Wave
still use
sunset
Google
photo
Wave?
shoot?
Say that again?
Are you going to go to the
Does
get a
anybody
photo
actually
shoot?
use it?
There's a Google Wave photo shoot?
No, I'm kidding. For the sunset, everybody wants to shoot the sunset.
I thought you were having like an Office Space send-off party.
We're gonna put a computer on like a block of wood thing and set it on fire out in the lake.
So, I used it a couple of, besides being in the beta program, I used it a couple of times because I went to WordCamp, and instead of using, they were using Google Wave as the method for sharing documents and things like that, and that was probably the only serious attempt I've ever been involved with to apply it to something. But in general, the biggest problem I had is nobody likes to see you type. Nobody wants to stand behind you and watch you type. Nobody wants to be on the other side of the planet and watch you type and correct you while you're typing. So while it was really, really cool that it was real-time character interactive on the typing and the editing, and you could override each other and do all that, it's interesting because from a social perspective, from a human perspective, nobody really enjoyed that. I don't know anybody that embraced that.
I liked it.
You did?
Yeah.
Did you ever use it for anything useful?
No.
Besides being a cool, from a tech perspective, tech guys like us, we like the tech. But if you take that aside, did you really like it?
No, but it was really good for multi-person chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Kind of
it was
chat room.
cool, sort of as like a play toy, but it certainly wasn't. I could never find a use case for using it in the real world. I tried a couple of different things. Try sharing a video. Let's go and share a YouTube video and comment on it. That got boring.
And it was interesting because there was an element of prestige attached to being part of the beta program and a couple of other, and be ahead of everybody else. And there were people selling invites on eBay and making some money off of it too.
I missed out on that one.
When Gmail first came out, I bought an invite off eBay.
Did you really?
Yeah. Yes, I did. I did not buy a Wave invite, though. I did not buy that.
No, I didn't either. I had a good friend at Google that let me load. And I loved the technology. It was a lot of fun. I did a lot of stuff to it. And we had, speaking from a company perspective, we had a lot of Disney early adopters and tech people in it. all talking to each other, playing for it. It lasted about a month, and then nobody ever really bothered with it anymore.
Yeah, it was cool. It was really cool technology, but the way it was implemented and trying to find new posts stuff, it was a total disaster.
Yeah.
And the world's just not ready for something like Google Wave.
Yep, and they're putting. If I got it correctly, they're moving it to open source. They're open sourcing the project.
Yeah, I think Apache.
Yeah, so and that's a great license too. It was open source too. So yeah, that's the best thing to do with that. That's the right move. So I know people will do some really cool things with that. Probably split it apart and implement pieces of it.
It's probably great for, I don't know, solving complex math algorithms together in a group setting or something, or that kind of a thing for educational uses and things like that.
Or organizations for collaboration purposes. The open source thing, I think, is a great idea.
I love that Google does that. I wish if every company took their abandoned project that they don't intend to sell or anything, and instead of just holding on to it or killing it, letting it die and throwing out, just released it to the public with total freedom, I think the technology sector would be a much better place. But
sometimes companies are, now with the whole Android, being sued and stuff, some companies are worried about releasing their source.
Yeah, that's that's a side effect of something I see happen in companies. That more and more get legal centric. The lawyers, instead of being people to help you enable do things, they start to become naysayers and stop you from doing things. The most common case I have for that is I worked at a couple of companies where the first thing they would do is donate their old computer equipment, their desktops, to schools or charities and things like that. And then eventually, in 2 cases, that was stopped after a couple of years because the lawyers came in and said, we could be legally responsible if somebody hurts themselves with one of those computers or somebody commits a crime with them, and said, it could be a branding issue. So, no, from now on, we're going to destroy them all.
That was kind of the mantra from my former employer was no. Now, what was your question?
Yeah. So,
speaking of lawsuits, I don't know if you guys saw, but it sounds like the whole Oracle and Google Android thing is kind of starting to wind down, and it looks like the settlement will likely be settled out of court for probably less than $100 million.
Well, did anybody doubt that it wasn't going to settle out?
I didn't doubt that at all, but for it to happen this soon, number one, and for such a low figure, considering how high the original was, I'm very surprised. Happily surprised.
Do you think that was all there was to it, or do you think there was some pressure from patents that were cross-held?
I think Google acquiring some new patents is probably starting to worry Oracle a little bit. I'm also wondering if Apple getting so gigantic is now starting to make these other companies think, maybe we shouldn't really be going after each other so much and start worrying about this huge freaking giant in the corner that's just taking over the whole world now.
Yeah,
what did Apple close at today? Let me see. $605.96 a share.
Is that up or down?
That's up by $4.86.
Okay. Well, that's good. And another, speaking of emails, another email I got. I'll put it up here on my, see if I can get it on my screen display. It's not working. Give it one more shot.
You could do it, man.
Actually, I think it is working. I'm just on the wrong screen. All right. So another thing that was in the news was I got email. I don't know if anybody else got it about Twitter buying Posterous.
Yes, I did.
And
I saw a little blurb about that. I didn't read it.
Yeah. It's not. I'm not. Unfortunately, it's not letting me share it. There we go. So there's the email that I got from it. Thrilled to announce that Posterous has been acquired by Twitter. The opportunities in front of Twitter are exciting. We couldn't be happier. Blah 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 blah. Posterous Spaces. I forgot it was Posterous Spaces. I forgot that took place. It'll remain up and running without disruption. It's nice to see that instead of here's how to export all your data.
Well, read on.
That's what's happened in the last 3 things that have been taken over or killed.
It'll remain up and running, but if we change our mind, we'll let you know.
Yeah, and I don't. What do you think of this purchase?
My
mind swims all over the place on this one because, first of all, there's an overlapping social space. In some ways, they were competitors. So, is the purchase to integrate the features that Twitter doesn't have, to take Posterous out of the market? Posterous made the name for itself, and this is one of the reasons I hope it survives, because it was the service that allowed you to get to everything using an email interface, which is very important when you travel, because if you go to China or the Middle East and things like where there are firewalls, or if you go into companies, if you have a company that blocks social sites and you want to do a post, email 99.9% of the time always functions, so it's your way of getting there. So I hope it survives because it has a lot of value from that perspective. But the other people were using it as complete blogs, not just letting it keep a record of the stuff that you post, but using it as their blog, just like people use Tumblr as their blog. So what do you think of this, guys?
My fear is that they're acquiring them to get them out of the way, and will shut it down. That they bought them out, acquired the talent, and they'll roll them into something else.
Do we have a precedent for Twitter doing that? Well, they bought TweetDeck, but they haven't done that yet. It's still my favorite tool.
But think about it. Why do they need so many redundant services? They already have a photo sharing site. They already have a couple of different Twitter clients with TweetDeck and their own Twitter thing. At some point, Bean Counter is going to come in here and say, look, we're spending money hosting these servers and paying for these things that do the same job. We need to consolidate. Somebody's going to get the axe.
See, that's my fear, too, because except for maybe getting the patents and getting the thing out of the market, what would they do with it?
Right.
What's the value add for them to have it other than the brand and reputation it already has?
There may be something of, maybe they think that's a superior technology to what they have, and maybe that will be the Twitter-branded, picture hosting site, but my gut says that they're probably going to kill it.
Does anybody else here use it?
I've never used it.
Is it?
I've used it.
Sounds like it's going to get sunsetted.
Is it a blogging platform or is it a social network?
It's a
micro.
The social network in that you can befriend people and have relationships and things like that. It's sort of how Path is a brand new. Have any of you played with Path? Because that's new.
Yeah.
Okay. So Path is a social network. As well, you can post to it and share with friends and hook up and things like that. And same thing with Pinterest. So in that respect, these are all social networks because they allow you to form circles of relationships with people that you know. But the forte behind Posterous was you could connect to all your social networks like Ping FM and some other aggregators or portals to do multiple posts. And provided a really good email interface. You could designate individual email addresses for each service, or you could designate an email address that would group them together. And it was very intelligent. It knew you didn't have to tell it you were posting a photo. It could decipher the content of your email message and format it correctly for each service that you were posting to. So it knew the difference between a Facebook status and a Twitter tweet. And it knew the difference between posting a photo on Tumblr and posting a photo on Facebook. So it was very clean and very simple. So in that respect, it's that kind of social network.
I can see where Twitter might want some of those tools to incorporate, to get people to tweet everything and then share it with other networks. And maybe they're trying to get some of that underlying framework that Posterous had in place.
Which is, I think, is a very good theory. I mean, they've got all those pipes in there connecting to different social platforms, and they want Twitter to be the kind of a front end to connecting to those things. So rather than develop that themselves, they can just go out and buy the technology and go there. They don't need to keep the blog portion of it up.
Well, how many celebrities and companies multi-cross all their posts between Facebook, Twitter, Google+? You see them cross-posting everywhere if they want that platform to shoot everything out at once in the proper format.
Well, my motivation is not so much I want to post everywhere at once, is I want to be able to post to a couple things, but I only want to do that once. My goal is not to blast 30 services. My goal is I use 3 of them, and I hate doing it 3 times for each one, once for each time. This is the biggest problem I have with Google Plus right now. I wish the API would open up so that you could finally, for example, use TweetDeck to
I agree.
post the 2 places at once.
I think Google Plus is missing a big opportunity by not doing that too, because ultimately people use these apps that allow them to do these type of things. that's one reason people won't adopt Google Plus more widely if they don't open that up and embrace that a little bit. I think it's a real big mistake on Google Plus's part to not open the API up and allow third-party apps to access the stream.
Right on,
And-
Chris.
Yeah, I totally agree, and it's a doorway in to get more content.
And
Yeah.
there's a precedent for it. I mean, remember, Steve Jobs did not want to have apps opened up on the iPhone.
Yeah.
But once they did, it exploded, and that drove more hardware sales. So in the same case for Google Plus, if they want to get more users on it, just as he's saying, open up the API, let the tool vendors get in there, and it'll grow.
And it's a migration tool. I mean, most people aren't going to migrate from like Facebook to Google Plus unless for an interim period they can handle both easily for a while.
Right.
So I'm not sure, but I think I saw something, the fireside chat that Vic Gundotra did at South by Southwest with the guy Kawasaki. I think I didn't watch the whole thing, but I got the impression that he kind of made it sound like there wasn't going to be an API anytime soon because they want to keep the spam down. Because once you do allow all these tweet decks and Hipmunk or whatever, not Hipmunk, but all these things that automatically, Hootsuite that lets you post automatically, all of a sudden your stream's going to get flooded with these automated posts that go out, and will it start spamming more? Maybe they want to build the network more before that happens.
Well, there's some truth to that because with Facebook, I mean, you can look at the news feed and you can see craziness out there all the time. People just posting stuff.
But that API has been available on Facebook for years, and initially it didn't have all that. There is that concern. I mean, that is the vulnerability you create, that you're going to make it easy for people to post stuff without caring, without being interactive, just dumping into your social media service. But on the other hand, you can put throttling and flood controls on it. And if they throttled me to simply 5 or 6 posts a day using that API, it would make a huge world of difference to my life. So you can, and that's what Twitter does. I mean, Twitter's API allows you to post directly into it, but they have a huge throttle on it, and the throttle there is much bigger, much more restrictive than if you go directly to the website and post from there. So those are that's why TweetDeck and other things have some restrictions that are greater than going to the website. I think there are more reasons to do it than to not do it.
I think they're just waiting. They're just waiting it out.
Well, so what do you think?
This is a really long-term strategy, Google Plus, for them. I think they've said multiple times they never expected even close to what of the use it's getting now already.
Yeah.
So they're not all that concerned about growing it super fast. They want to be very careful about every little thing they do and take their time, and that's what it seems like they're doing. And some people are not going to be happy, but it is what it is, I guess,
Yeah, they can do it slowly. Make it so pages can't do it. Make it so that do a couple a day. Greater than 0 is what I want. 0 is painful right now.
Mm-hmm.
And even just being able to view your stream from a third-party app would be nice. Not even necessarily creating a post. I mean, I do want to be able to create a post and cross-post from other places, but I just want to at least be able to view my stream. I mean, we can't even do that right now.
Yeah, and that's a different vulnerability. That's the one that people are usually more hesitant to release because that allows your content to leak out and be used as content in another service and help them instead of you. But it's always bugged me that I get an RSS feed generated from my Google Plus stream.
I think that's the other thing too. They want to standardize everything, and they haven't necessarily decided if they're finished with certain aspects, and if they're iterating so fast that if they do all of a sudden make an API, they'll be constantly changing it to handle the new changes that they make on the stream or whatever, and then all these people are going to be upset that their viewer doesn't work or their posting software doesn't work, the third-party app's not working properly. So I think once Google Plus gets more stabilized with their code and their standards of how they want to do things, maybe that's when they'll finally put an API in.
I can see a fear of scalability being genuine, that opening that door would have a huge impact on the infrastructure, and they may not be able to ramp it up, or they may not be ready for it yet.
Yeah, because they like to make changes on the fly and make big changes.
Yeah.
And if you have an API, you're now suddenly constrained by this API that you released.
And speaking of big changes, last week on Monday, I did a Hangout. We actually did the Tech Plus 2 on Wednesday, and then an hour later I did the Thomas Hawk Hangout with him, and we had to give up after almost an hour trying to get started because the Google Plus, I'm sorry, not the Google Plus, the Google Talk plugin inside the Hangout was echoing everybody. One person would speak and it would echo into everybody's feed, and it didn't matter who joined first, who started the Hangout. We tried different browsers, we tried computer restarts. Basically, no matter what we did, the Hangout was unusable, and just an hour earlier it was fine. And Google eventually released a plugin update to fix it, and I'm using it right now. And I haven't had a problem since then, but then again, I didn't have a problem before that. So it's going to be interesting because at 11 o'clock tonight, we'll do another Hangout with Thomas Hawk's show. We'll see if we have the echo again. Did anybody else hear any news about the echo problem? Did anybody else encounter it?
I encountered it from time to time, but never like in a mass scale like you are describing.
This was serious. This echo was serious and loud.
But yeah, they knew about it and were trying to fix it, and I guess they did. So
yeah. It had all the symptoms of that they fixed something and broke something, and then fixed it quickly. But I don't know that that's true. But so nobody had. No, did you watch the show? Did you see the?
No, I did not.
I didn't see that show. I've seen occasional echo issues come up, and usually they were quickly resolved. And I saw a note come out saying, hey, this plugin's going to be rolling out some, but if you want it now, go ahead and click here and download it, which I did. And it hasn't been an issue for me anyways.
Okay. And so while we're still on the subject of Hangouts before we move on, we have a couple of shows in the room, right? Let me see here. Danielle, you do a writer's hangout, right?
Yeah, a bunch of us writers all get together, and it's kind of a solitary profession, and it's easy to get distracted, so we get together in a hangout session, and we work together because it's actually easier to stay on target if you have like a cubicle setting where you're seeing other people working and they're kind of watching you at the same time.
Really?
And, yeah, and we'll take like an hour, we'll do it in hour chunks, and about 10 minutes out of every hour we'll pause, get drinks, whatever, to chat, bounce ideas off each other, ask questions, and then we continue working.
But during that hour, it's very quiet, isn't it?
It's very quiet. It's actually, we all mute each other, and it works.
and that's, you don't broadcast or anything. That's just a private hangout.
No, that's kind of creepy.
1 million viewers.
Does that happen regularly? Is it once a week?
I know Jamie Ford. He's a New York Times bestselling author. He'll host one every Wednesday. And then there's several of us who get together on a regular basis and do it because we stay home all day and write. And
is anybody aware of any other hangouts like this, where it's just a bunch of people getting together for a couple hours, they just leave it running and...
Yeah, we just leave it running and people come and go and throughout the day, and we usually limit to, certain circles with known writers because some people come in and just talk.
Does it help with your writing or stories?
It really does. When you're writing, it's easy to get distracted by the internet, Facebook, games, open up a quick solitaire. And if you know someone's watching, you're less inclined to do that.
So you're using it literally as the water cooler conversation.
Yeah.
Without the conversation.
Without the conversation, yeah.
Well, every 10 minutes they walk over to the cooler. I mean, every hour for 10 minutes.
That's exactly it, and it helps too. You're not so alone. There's other people, and you're not just sitting in an office by yourself typing all day.
That's why I have dogs, though. I mean, I understand where you're coming from. In my case, when I used to work, in a corporate environment, and if I was in a cubicle, I kept thinking of ways, how can I get these other people out of my mind? So this would not work for me. I kind of like the isolation here for when I need to sit down and write. But I also kind of understand where you're coming from and why it helps.
Sometimes it gets too distracting if somebody has too much going on in the background and it catches your eye in the video. But for the most part, I enjoy it.
That's cool because obviously I've seen shows, Hangouts done as shows. I've seen many of those. I've seen Hangouts done as tutorials. I've seen Hangouts done as concerts. But yours is the only Hangout I know that's done as like a professional sharing.
Yeah.
Quiet, private, professional sharing.
Yeah, it's. I don't think Google probably had thought this was going to happen, that the writers would embrace the Hangout as a way of working together in a solitary profession like this.
And you hear a lot about the photographers, but you don't hear a lot about the writers, which is a whole other creative group on Google+.
Yep. Yeah, and it's fun. I mean, you can go into a Hangout and talk to somebody who has a book on the bestseller list and find out about their latest story that they're working on, and it's great.
How big is your group?
I think there's about 20 people that come in and out regularly, and then if I throw it open, I probably would get a lot more, but we tend to be a little more selective.
And you did this with Google+. You didn't do it on Skype or anything prior to that, right? No chat room.
No. There was about 10 of us writers that started up right at the beginning, and we started having writing discussions, and then I think it was Jamie Ford who hosted the first Google+ Writers Hangout with the idea of working 50 minutes and then chatting for 10.
Oh. Nobody else is aware of anything like that, are they?
No, it makes me think, it's like our homeschooling folks using this, or are there other kind of communities that people who work at home do this, but
What the heck was that?
I just heard the Old Spice, and I don't know what it's
That's right. That was my phone.
I'm a horse.
That's my phone. I'll turn it off.
Is Isaiah calling, or? Oh.
He's going to be his own Old Spice commercial in a second. He's going to be on a horse.
I think it's a creative concept if, like she says, if you have the right group of people with a mindset for it. It wouldn't be for me, but I can see like that why some people are sitting at home and they get isolated and they're thinking, man, I can't concentrate because there's no background noise of other people around me.
That's the beauty of it. We mute it all, so you actually can't hear anyone else. So it's not like you're putting on noise blocking headphones.
Okay.
To block out your neighbors. You just see them typing.
I think it's cool that you say you get creative inspiration out of the company. Yeah.
Well, sometimes it's nice, if you get stuck on a scene, you can actually talk it through with some of the other writers and actually bounce ideas off each other.
Are they mostly fiction writers in your group, or?
It's a pretty good mixed bunch. There's some poetry, some nonfiction, I think. A couple screenwriters, even.
Oh.
So we have roughly 20 minutes left. We should go around and bring up other news items that you want to talk about. Chris, did you bring anything? Do you have anything you want to bring up?
I did bring one story that I want to talk about. I wanted to talk about the Zynga acquiring OMG Pop, from the makers of Draw Something, the game. Have you guys played this game yet?
Oh, yeah.
That was the thing about that news. I had never heard of them before.
Oh, it's blowing up like crazy.
I have been playing this game for like 3 or 4 days straight, basically, back and forth between friends. Basically on my new iPad, and it's been awesome. But I'm not sure. They didn't say how much Zynga paid for OMG Pop, but they were rumored to be estimated to be worth like 150 to 200 million dollars.
Yeah, the rumor from a source.
99-cent game is.
The rumor from a source is
what
that
do you think? What do you think? Do you
for
think that rumor is not
180 million.
accurate?
I think the rumor is accurate. They were more than just the one game. The game itself is pulling in $250,000 in profit per day. Profit. That's after Apple's take. Just for that game, they have a whole bunch of other games and stuff which are not really that popular. But this game itself is certainly worth that much, in my opinion.
I will have to go look at it.
Just because of what it's making,
It's a lot of fun. But here's the thing, I've been playing the game, and after that 99-cent initial investment, I don't see where I'm going to need to put a lot of money into this game, on a recurring basis. You have to purchase colors, and you have to purchase bombs if you need bombs to help you solve the word. But other than that, once you have the colors, once you have a large palette of colors, you don't really need any more colors. And I don't really need the bombs most of the time. So
Yeah, I agree with you
I don't
on
know.
that.
I just can't see it. It just seems like an awfully high evaluation to me.
Zynga knows how to monetize their games, so they're going to add new features that will make you have to buy things. Also, the free version, I'm for sure they're happier that you don't buy it. They're happy that you play the advertised version, because even if you click on 4 ads, 5 ads a year, they're probably making 5 times the money on the app than just selling it for $1. So, but I think Angry Birds has some crazy numbers for how much they make just on the ad revenue in their games. So
Right.
they're probably happier if you don't buy it and just play the free version all the time.
I understand what you're saying from the advertising revenue perspective. One thing I will say about the free version is that there's not that many words. So they need to add more words if they want to make the free version, if you ask me, more attractive. Because I would not have bought the pay version had I not been continuing to get the same words over and over and over again, after just a day of playing the free version.
Yes, I think we've all gotten Skrillex a few times.
See, now I feel left out.
You just have to download it and try it, and you probably will be drawing pictures for a couple hours at least.
Did you see on Mashable the draw something players create art for a singer's music video link there too?
Huh, I haven't seen this.
Yeah, there's a link. I'm just going to Google Plus it right now, but there's a link on Mashable. Musician addicted to draw something, a Pictionary-like game is currently a top paid free app. Used it to create a music video based on it.
Oh, wow. I understand somebody has a Tumblr blog, too, where they're posting all their drawings.
The company does, or a personal blog? Personal blog.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It was just something that I heard somewhere.
There's a few sites going around where people are actually posting all these crazy things. Like someone did a whole picture of Hoffman from Baywatch laying on the beach just to draw a cup in his hand.
That was David Hasselhoff you meant?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll have to go look for that. So Dave, do you have anything, any news that you want to?
No, I was going to talk about the Zynga and OMG Pop.
Okay. How about Rick?
Well, there's a couple of interesting things that I was looking at this week, and one of them I just posted on the chat about NetZero coming out with free 4G, basically. You buy their device for $99, and they give you 200 meg a month free for significantly lower price than what you'd get for Verizon. You can get MiFi hotspot with 4 gig or up to unlimited, I guess, like $50 a month. It's kind of like they're pushing the data companies a little bit to say, hey, something new's out there for you. Come check it out.
You just reminded me of another news story I saw today. I was just looking for my stream for it. Somebody is proposing a case that you can put around your iPhone or your Android phone, and it turns your phone into a Wi-Fi hotspot in exchange for giving you free data connection.
Really?
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's a clever idea. I haven't heard of anybody yet leveraging the case around the phone and putting electronics in it to add some functionality or services that you wouldn't normally have. So I think this is a very clever creative.
So the case is turning your phone into a hotspot?
Yeah.
So how's that any different than me just enabling hotspot on my phone?
Well, it's Freedom Pop, a company. Well, a lot of people can't do hotspots with their phones. They're blocked from that. It's made by Skype. Skype's founder. Okay, Nicholas. I can't pronounce his last name. Zenstrom. He's working on creating a case for your iPhone that will do double duty as a mobile hotspot. Free as in free monthly costs, but not the case itself will not be free. It's
So
more.
how's it connecting? Like, what is it's not using your phone's data connection
I'm-
to this? I suppose. I guess.
I don't know. It's not very clear. I mean, I can think of a couple of ways to do. Actually, it says right here. Actually, further down, it says it supposedly will use Clearwire 4G.
So it's like a MiFi,
Right.
but instead of a little box, it just fits around your phone.
Yeah, and you have it on the phone.
They've got their own little antenna in there.
Interesting.
The vampire device off the phone maybe for power.
It's probably going to block the phone's capabilities of reaching their towers.
I don't know, but it is a clever way of thinking.
Here, I'm going to wrap my phone in a MiFi.
like the idea.
That'll work great.
Is it like an unprotected hotspot, or is it your own personal protected little hotspot?
I don't know. I think the implication is that your phone becomes accessible for other people as well.
Right.
So it's sort of like a peer-to-peer free data.
So what's the revenue plan? How do they make money?
Well, first of all, you got to buy the device.
All right, but that's one time.
Then sell
Yeah.
yourself to Zynga.
I don't know.
The thing.
It's a $100 deposit for the case,
Okay.
but it's fully refundable when you return the case in good condition. Well, so even that, it's just to cover the cost of the case. So I don't know. I mean, that's all there. It's a very short. It's a Gizmodo article. It's very short. So we'll have to keep an eye on.
Sounds like it's going to get sunsetted to me.
Yeah, the only reason I wouldn't do it is because I don't trust what someone else is doing if I'm responsible for the IP address that if they're going through. Does it look like I've been downloading something I shouldn't have?
It's true.
I'd need to know more.
Well, that's all there was in the story, unfortunately. It's not a device that physically exists that anybody can talk about. I don't think it was demonstrated in CES or anything.
Oh, vaporware. Okay.
Well, I don't know. But I've had my problems with Skype as a company too. So Rick, what else did you have? Because you said you had more than one.
Well, one is kind of boring, but I'm a space geek, so I really was into the discussion that has been going around lately about SpaceX flying to the International Space Station here shortly, which is kind of cool because we're going to have a independent, non-government-run entity getting close to a fairly large installation. And then there's talk about the impending first launch of the Orion capsule. So I'm a self-professed space junkie, so I like to talk about those kinds of things. I think it's pretty interesting to see where SpaceX is going to go with this because I have some friends over at NASA, and they're very concerned about quality control that SpaceX is doing if they ever wanted to launch humans, which is part of the reason why they're so inexpensive right now comparatively. So I've been watching them very, very closely. It's an interesting company. I think Elon Musk has done some great things over there, but I think they've got a lot of learning yet to do. But their vehicles are very cool.
They have learning to do, but at the same time, a lot of the people that they're bringing on formerly worked for companies like Lockheed Martin Space Systems or other companies that have worked as NASA subcontractors. So they've got the talent. What they don't have is enough money to keep operations going until they can turn some profits.
Yeah.
And as for the government, NASA folks looking down their nose a little bit, I think some of that is sour grapes. I mean, these are the same folks that surprisingly keep turning up, bags of cocaine on the floor. So,
well, it's interesting because I've heard both sides because I went to the last NASA tweet up. It was the Mars Curiosity launch tweet up, and we had a great tour guide there who had been there for a long time, and I don't know what he did as a profession when I was at NASA. And NASA's building this huge building complex for the joint civilian corporate government operations for the Orion project and everything else. It's a brand new facility. The rockets are going to launch on a platform where the launching structure is part of the rocket so that you can put any rocket on a platform because it's going to be married to whatever components it needs.
right.
To launch there. And a lot of the same people who were laid off because of the cutbacks on the contracts and everything, of course, are now working on some of this too. So they would also tell some stories about how the commercial space sector has done some very clever things that NASA has not done. And one example they cited was the hydraulic systems in a typical NASA vehicle like the space shuttle, there's like 4 or 5 different hydraulic systems. There's different kinds of fluids. What the commercial sector did was they figured fluid was fluid, and so they used one fluid for all of it. So the fluid is doing double duty, providing pressure for hydraulics at the same time the fluid is actually used for something else in the vehicle, and that double duty cut a lot of cost way down. So there is some cleverness going on too.
And it has to be, because if you look at those different hydraulic systems you were talking about, one may have been built by Boeing, another by General Dynamics, another one by Lockheed Martin, and each was designing for their own subcontract. So as a whole, it was very expensive. But when you've got one guy looking at the bean counter and saying, you know what, we can shave cost here, they're facing problems in a different light than what government contractors used to have to do. And that's going to come up with some very creative solutions which are going to flow down just as other technology did from the old space race. I think it's a great idea. I think NASA is eventually going to be like the FAA. I mean, imagine if every flight, was a government flight. There'd be no Southwest. There'd be none of these different carriers. And I have no idea what it would be like, but I look at the TSA and think it probably would not be good.
No, I agree with you. In fact, when the end of the shuttle program first came up, the Obama administration, the original budgeting edicts was that NASA was going to just maintain the space station, and it was going to be the private sector is going to be responsible for going to the moon and to the Mars, and that felt backwards to me. It felt like the private sector should begin by doing the maintenance on the space station, and NASA should shoot for the moon and Mars again, because that's where their expertise is, and those are the longer projects. So I'm happy to see that the SpaceX and the Orion project, they're all going to involve themselves in going to the space station, and it's going to open up space tourism in some degree. I mean, no matter how far-reaching doing the moon and Mars are, reaching something on a regular basis in orbit more efficiently than the shuttle program used to do, I think is a great goal.
Well, I look at it this way. Whoever has the objective of reaching these places is going to draw the great minds that will help them get it there. Whether it's the government or whether it's civilians, people are going to want to go where the action is, so that'll be competitive to get those minds in there. And as far as getting to Mars, I don't see that happening within my lifetime. And I don't say that not because we can't come up with the technology to do it. It's just because the stress on humans to make that kind of journey and back can't handle it yet unless they can find a way to find a gravity system that'll work.
Yeah. So that was all I had.
That was a cool story, Rick, to bring up.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a space geek, so,
Oh, so am I. I'm glad you brought that up. So, William, do you have anything?
I have two things, and one of them was kind of an evolutionary thing. Along with my little iPad 3, I also got the updated Apple TV. And it's not that we haven't had streaming content for a while, but now that Apple has upgraded to pretty much Blu-ray status, and we can get the same thing from Netflix, does anybody here really see a need to continue buying Blu-ray DVDs or DVDs or Blu-rays? When you think about how many times you watch it versus the price that it costs to rent in high quality?
Well, we're still on the bandwidth edge problem, so if you have caps on your network bandwidth and you want to watch a lot of them or you want to watch them over and over again, you're going to hit caps. And the internet broadband industry is moving toward pay per usage rather than flat rate, so that could climb and kill you eventually. That's the biggest negative I see.
And that would do it, because I'm seeing, sitting here with Bright House, I'm not running into any caps or problems like that, and I can stream in a 1080p movie now from or show
from iTunes.
Yeah, from iTunes. I can rent something off there easily and see it in high quality. If I want to buy it, then I've got it anywhere I want to go. I can pack up my Apple TV, go on a trip to a hotel, and if I'm going to be stuck in the room, easily plug that in with an HDMI cable and watch my own content rather than paying for an overpriced rent a movie from the hotel or watching whatever junk is on TV. It just seems that we have a lot of opportunities now for crafting our own entertainment that didn't exist before, and I'm kind of happy to see that come about.
Better than that now with iCloud, right? Because I noticed that some of the movies that I've purchased that came with digital copies, all of a sudden with 5.1 just showed up in my Apple TV and on my iPad so that I can watch them anytime I want.
Right.
even though they were originally only loaded on my Mac that I'm on right now. It's kind of cool now, so you could buy them and just get them on your iPad. You don't even have to have the Apple TV.
And it kind of also reduces even your backup requirements. It used to be you had to make sure you had a backup of that because if you lost that downloaded movie, you couldn't get it again. But now suddenly, you know, books, music, movies, if I have a crash of a hard drive and I don't have a backup for it, no problem. I got a cloud copy. I'll just pull it down again.
Well, you say that, but when I bought my iPad and I was trying to download on the music I had bought from iTunes to it, I think there were 3 songs that iTunes said we can no longer provide this to you because we no longer provide it. You know, we don't have it anymore.
And that's true. A licensing agreement will put a crimp on it. But I think we're moving in that direction, though.
We are. I'm just saying, just pointing out that it's still very important to have your own copies of stuff because when you hand all the reins, as convenient as it is, when you hand all the reins to the other party, no matter what they say, you know, the license expire, companies purchase each other, companies go bankrupt, and you could, even though you paid for it, you may not get to it.
Well, and it's like,
and ultimately they have control over it.
Yeah.
And it's like the HBO window. It's like for the first 6 months you can buy a movie on iTunes, and then 6 months after it was released digitally, HBO's window came in, and then suddenly the movie was no longer there. So that may have meant you couldn't download it anymore. Or Bob Seger, he released an album, then he said, I'm not going to be on iTunes anymore, now I couldn't download it. But I think that ultimately is moving in the direction where it's just all going to be there.
You know, and I'm glad you brought this up because Rick Betteridge and I both run home Plex systems, which is a fancy GUI interface with remote control for accessing not only your media services in the house, but accessing Hulu, Netflix, everything else, all bundled together, and as well as streaming to your iPad and mobile devices. So we're gonna, one of the things I have planned is either next week or the week after that, we'll do a whole show about home media environments, home media systems. We can talk about the Plex system. We can talk about Apple TV, much more depth.
Oh, nice.
I think we could fill an hour easily with that topic.
Easily.
Yeah.
I've got Plex, I've got Microsoft Media Center, and I've got a Roku device and Apple TV. So
Too, yeah.
I'm all about Sage TV, which got bought by Google last summer.
I love my Google TV.
You know, and it's funny because for years I was planning to build a Myth TV, and I never got around to it. Now there's no reason to.
No.
Well, guys, that's an hour.
Okay.
I think it's time to sunset this show.
Yeah. So thank you very much for coming, and
Thanks for
see
having
you
me.
next. And
Thanks a lot.
good night.
good night.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Good night.
Guys.